I want to demonstrate some new functions to you in this video, but in the process, remember, repetition is where we learn, that's where we retain things. So in the process, we're going to go over a few things very quickly and reformat the information that you see here so it's a little bit visually appealing. First off, let's go ahead and widen up these columns. So we click and drag, widen those up a little bit. That one there's fine. I want to center align all of this, so I'll click and drag those and click Align Center. That's good. And I tell you what, let's take this one right here and we will select a style for that. Blue. And a different style for that. We'll go with red and purple. How about that? Looks good. Now let's go across here. Actually, I'm going to format it this way. We'll go with a light blue, a peachish color, and see what I'm doing here? Just clicking and dragging to select all the cells that I want to apply this to. And we're going with kind of all pale colors here, right? Okay, that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and colorize this for the sake of consistency. I don't know what actually would look the best. Let's go with that one right there. Good. Now let's go ahead and put a border around the outside of it. Okay, so we click the drop down, outside border. And actually, you know what? I want a thicker border. So we'll right click, Format Cells, go to Border. I'll select my thick border and click Outline. Fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted. Now in this case, let's put a thick border right here on the left-hand side. So thick border selected. Click left because these are the cells that I've got selected. So I'm saying I want the left side of those to have a thick border. And in fact, they do. Now only one more thing I'd like to put a border across the bottom here too, just to make this look a little bit nicer. There we go. I like that. Now, I don't necessarily like these colors, but we're going to go with them. Here's what we're going to do. Notice that I've got maximum, minimum, average, and total here written in these columns. I'm going to show you how Excel can figure out or calculate all the answers to these questions here, essentially, for the numbers that are over here, and it's going to do it very, very automatically. I'm going to click on a cell, and then I'm going to go over to the Formulas tab. And in the function library, remember that a function is kind of like a little mini computer program. It's something that will calculate something for us based on values that we send to it. So I'm going to use, under the Auto Sum section here, I'm going to click the drop down, and there is a little function called max, and that actually means maximum. Now if I do this way, I select my cell, and I go over to a function and I click max. What Excel does is check this out. It guesses what numbers I'm wanting to use. So based on the things that are adjacent to my selected cell, it has gone out and picked this, and it's saying, hey Ken, is this the group of numbers that you'd like me to work with? And in this particular case, it is. So it's given me a range reference, C7 to E7. That is correct. I'm just going to go ahead and take that, and when I hit enter, all that this function does is it takes whatever numbers I've sent to it, and it will return the largest one, so the maximum value. So I hit enter, and it gives me the maximum number. So you can imagine if I was dealing with a spreadsheet that had tons of values in it, and I didn't want to actually go through there and see which one is the biggest, I can use this maximum function, and it'll do it for me. Now, let's go ahead and take that same thing. We've got relative referencing here, so we can take that same formula, click and drag, and bring it down. There's one little caveat here. Whenever you fill down, whenever you fill, basically, the formatting gets filled too. So notice, if I click away here, that I lost my bottom border. But you see this little option right here? This is the autofill options. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to go down to fill without formatting. So I'm telling it, go ahead and fill, but don't change my formatting. And now I get that border back. So now we can take a look, and yes, in this row right here, that is the largest value. Same thing here, and that's what it's doing in every single instance. It's grabbing the same, group of numbers there, getting the largest one and returning that. Now that's pretty neat, but let's try the minimum function. As you might have guessed, it does exactly the opposite. So I select the cell where I want my results. I go up here to auto sum, and let's go to min. This is the minimum function. And it's saying, hey, Ken, is this the group of numbers that you want to work with? And notice it has no idea that I don't want to include this number right here, right? It's just guessing, and sometimes Excel seems pretty smart, and sometimes it seems pretty stupid. So, but that's okay. We can change that. All we have to do is click and drag and say, no, I want these numbers selected. So we hit enter, and there we go. We get the minimum value there. Now let's go ahead, click and drag that down. Again, change the option, fill it without formatting. So we keep our same formatting, and we get the desired results. Now the next function is average, and this one's pretty neat. As you might have guessed, this calculates the average of the numbers. Works the same way. Go up here, go to average, and again it's selected the wrong values, so we'll just change it. Same process, fill it down. But I tell you what, let's not do that. Let's Control Z. Let's say that I'd like this number to not appear like this. I want it just to be a whole number. So I'm going to go ahead and format some things. Let's go back home. And over here on number, I'm going to change my decimal point. Okay? And I can increase the decimal values, which makes the number too big to show up. Or I can decrease the decimal values. And if we get it down to whole numbers, it'll round it for us. Okay? Let's take that. And the only thing with that is we want to do our formatting without actually doing the formatting. So we have to make our copying there and then go in. And actually, I need to select these because let's do them one at a time because they're different values anyway. Different number of decimal places. Okay, so that's how we solve that problem. And then the last one is the total. And really, I should have called this sum because that's the real name of the function. So we select the cell where we want to go. We go to formulas, and auto sum is the most popular thing that people are going to do. So we click on that, and that's going to select again our range. Wrong range, just fix it, and hit the enter key. And let's go ahead and drag this down. And again, click our fill options and copy the fill without formatting. Okay, so here's what we're getting. We're getting the maximum of the three values here. We're getting the minimum of the three values, the average of the three values, and the sum of the three values. Now let's go ahead. I'm going to do maximum this way, minimum this way, average, and sum. And why do you think I'm going to do this? Because I'm going to give you the maximum of all of these numbers. Minimum, average, sum of all of them. Okay, so let's see how that works. Click the cell. Again, we'll go to maximum. Notice what it defaults to. It tries to take a good guess at what we're trying to do. So let's redefine that area. Hit enter. Good. Minimum. And it jumps to the next adjacent cell. And let's redefine the area. Good. Average. Again, redefine. I'm just clicking and dragging to redefine that. Let's go ahead and drop this down to just a whole number. And our last one is going to be auto sum. And again, it's going to be redefined. And there we go. So now we have a total for all the numbers here that we're dealing with. We've got the maximum value, the minimum value, and the average. In our next exercise, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Insert tab.